You want to talk? You got time? I don't know if you got time.
We got some time. I mean, I wasn't impressed by Rome.
Really? Not at
No,
all.
I just wanted to say that because you had more research than I.
Oh, I definitely do. So I'll do the scholar approach. So Romulus and Remus, born of gods and placed into the wild, grow healthy and strong under the guise of a she wolf that feeds them, nurtures them.
This is this is this is offensive to me.
The she wolf?
No, 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 no. I got a text message during the show from one of the few of our big fans,
Oh,
the Hooch, the Hooch, who watches the show. He
ooch.
texts me all the time. Yes, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Quote unquote. I'll read it to you here on the air. This is live, folks.
Okay, live.
You don't get much from this.
Fresh in.
He asks about social media? Question mark. Dude, I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but but that post, he effing pandered. You gonna un that or what?
Pandering for what?
I don't know. I think he's just trying to rebel.
He's riling me up? Is that what he's doing? Is he
He
riling
is.
me up?
Here's the thing. Like, I guess we're the unpanders, so
Not here on this podcast.
Nothing here.
Huh.
I feel like every episode should tell something personal about his relationship status.
Yeah, let's talk about his girlfriend.
Hold on. What do you think? I'm trying to think of the most recent update. Because then he can never watch the podcast around her.
It really limits how much time you can watch it.
Yeah, I know.
Because she's attached like a tick. She's in there deep.
She's sucking your blood.
Dry, man. And giving you diseases. He's got Lyme disease.
Lyme disease is terrible, man. Because it's like a lot of mini diseases.
Yeah, it is.
Can't get rid
It
of
kind of is. It's tough.
Yeah. Your dogs ever have Lyme disease?
No, we don't test them for
So
that.
no, they've never been tested.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
They're fine. They're fine.
Fine-ish. Fair. Anyway, we can move on. I don't want to talk about the hooch. He bugs me. One day he actually does demand he'll be on the podcast, but I think he has a 2011 iPad and he uses that for his microphone and his video.
I don't think that's gonna fly.
Hold on, I left out one detail. His personal room that he has privacy in is actually connected to the rest of the house, and the door doesn't. There's no door.
Well, how do you? That's
Tell me.
That's probably why they're still together, I guess.
My thing is, maybe he's into like the whole thing where he likes other people to watch.
The one person that's like, probably like, no, I don't.
No, his girlfriend. Maybe he's by himself. You follow me?
I kind of do, but
and he's getting busy with his little carrot stick, and he's like, "Yeah, she's gonna see it."
Little
And
baby
she's
carrots.
making breakfast, and baby, definitely a baby carrot stick,
Mhm.
and she's totally ignoring him and trying to make breakfast, and he's like, "I'll be out in a minute, babe." He's making noises because he wants to get caught, and she's like, "The eggs are almost ready. Do you want any eggs, Hooge?" And he's like, "Almost, babe. You might want to see what's cooking in here." She's like, "I don't care. Do you want any bacon?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm baking a big one." And she's like, "Go away." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll away you." I think he wrote something pretty good.
That would be the best if that's how he proposed with the ring.
A child's ring. Damn, this ring is entirely too small. Oh. Be beautiful though. I mean, in a way, it's beautiful. I do respect it.
Some people, they have different ways.
They sure do.
Take a good breather here. Let's relax.
We should do a breathing exercise with the audience. Everyone, breathe out your nose.
Are you breathing in or
That
breathing
was
out?
my nose. Breathe in your nose. Hold on. And that's it, folks. We're good. We have just meditated.
Ooh.
Thank you. Feel good. Would you like to
Romulus?
speak about
Yeah.
Romulus and Remus?
We already talked about the origins.
Oh, I know. We discovered Rome was pronounced Rome for a frickin' reason, folks.
Mhm. 'Cause of those
100% agree.
So if you, I guess today now, like the geography of the world is most places already picked, like the good ones, the good spots.
Mm-hmm.
So you got like a river, you have some sort of like plain where you can grow all your stuff. You got a little hill so you can defend yourself, which doesn't matter anymore because people just bomb you. They don't try to charge you with troops.
Right. Well, back in the day when hand-to-hand combat and
Yeah.
forces were. Who did you? I actually have. Greece was more near the water and hilly land, like more ocean. I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like is archipelago a group of islands or does it have something to do with being circular in nature?
I think it's a group of islands connected.
So I'm gonna say Greece was an archipelago for most of it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
If we're wrong, I'm sure no one would correct us anyway.
Yeah, no one watches this anyway.
Ancient Rome, I feel like was more inland near the Tiber River.
Oh, that is correct.
And serves me correct.
Close enough to the sea to be a seaport.
Yes, but also inland enough where it
Defenses.
didn't have to be.
Protection.
Yeah, oh, beautiful.
A
Beautiful.
crossing. It was near a crossing too, so there's a physical traffic, foot traffic.
Did you catch this? There's a vibe I got that ancient Greece was very into idealistic art, not not art that depicted like
People, physical rulers and stuff, or what? I'll let you go.
Sure. No. You research more than me.
I didn't research
like
this part.
Okay. The Greek loved the ideal of art. Like it's like the ideal man, the ideal turtle humping a man, the ideal man humping a turtle. I don't know, like big, powerful, muscly things. The Romans were more into realistic art, stuff that looked more real. So I think that's where we got most of our tiny peckers, like the little guys. I think. I mean, I don't know. Unless that was Greek and that was the ideal wiener. I can't see it, but
I feel bad for the people who are like carving a statue with a tiny wiener, and it takes them like ages. And by the time
I feel
they're
bad
done,
for the guy who has to pose for like a week like that. He's like chilling like this, and he's like, "Are you gonna make that part any bigger before you get to my legs?" And they're like, "No, we're done." And he's like, "Any?"
no,
at all?
the response is only if you can keep it hard the whole time. And then the guy's like, "Shit."
A younger man, were I.
Yeah. But then when you're done carving that tiny wiener, you got to come back because people think it's indecent, and you got to cover it with a fig leaf. So you got to like somehow.
Were they? This is a real question. Were they all covered with art, or was that like years later? I feel like.
I feel like one of the popes came in and was like, "We can't have all these
Yeah.
wieners," and then
That's so awesome. Yeah. Shout out. The Unpanders would like to shout out to that Pope
yeah,
for covering. Do you know how many wieners he covered? Thousands.
thousands of wieners.
Shout out that Pope.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Conservatism, yeah, conservatism. I like it.
Conservatism.
Conservatism, yeah. Sorry.
Conversionism. I think he was converting everyone to wiener philosophy. I believe.
Yeah, I think so too. Isn't that the? Is it the goddess to Milo? Is that the word? Is that the painting? Where they
think
covered up
it's-
her.
Oh
They
no.
made it so it was like.
I notice when I watch the replays of these podcasts that when I take the bandana off and I really move my hair.
You get too distracted by your own hair.
Yeah, but I also think that's when stuff gets real on this podcast.
Welcome to the real. I can't say it because it's copyrighted. Well, I don't know. That show's been off the air for about 10 years. MTV. Oh, I can't say MTV. Shit.
The real Earth? Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, sure. Real Earth.
Yeah, one of our followers' girlfriend doesn't think the Earth is round. Let's not get into that.
Yeah.
Rome.
So Rome. Yeah, Rome. We keep diverging. I don't know if it's because we don't like talking about history or we're gonna work
Yeah,
on
we're
it.
not historians.
Yeah, maybe
Wouldn't
we
that
are. I like the formation of things. Like why? Like if you have a perfect valley and you can grow your own food and you have people, like mostly like dudes, like how are you going to attract more people to your village, right? It's like usually people come together to a sausage party, right? Like you make
Hold
your
up.
own party, and then
You
it's
just
like
described like a gay bar. You described the gay club. You're like it's like a perfect valley, and it's all these dudes. And how else are you going to attract more people?
I was an
than
intro,
when-
man. It's a segue.
I apologize. Go ahead, segue
So,
in.
so I think Rome started as a bunch of dudes, and then they realized we can't continue Rome unless we make babies and stuff.
Ladies.
Yeah. So they actually invited like the neighbors' women and families over. So it was a bunch of pairings of men and women, and then at some point during the dinner they go hey, and then they attack the men and scare the men away and grab all the
Kill
women.
them. Well, they kill them.
They probably did.
Making it
kill
very PJ. They probably murdered them
Mhm.
fools.
Yeah, because they had
Ugh.
two God's son people with them, and so they essentially formed their city after stealing women from surrounding areas, which
That
is
sounds pretty vicious.
you know.
God. If you can't get a date, you can't just like invite over a couple, kill the husband, and rape her. It's like a no-no nowadays.
Yeah, it's. I would decry it in the olden days.
How would you cry it? That's awesome. You said it like an olden days way. That's good. That's good.
But that's apparently what they did. They just stole women from the surrounding villages, and then eventually, they were so powerful that they merged with these surrounding villages, and they kept their progeny going.
It's like I feel like a lot of cultures are built that way. Breeding is the most powerful army tool.
Well, yeah, back when they didn't really have any media per se. You had one guy writing in a room, capturing all of history.
Afterwards,
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to write during, right?
No, I doubt it. And if you
I
had
doubt
control of that one guy, you
That's a
could
good point.
tell how history went up
Right,
until a
tell
point.
history. Right. That's interesting. I never thought of that. We were just speaking of the speed of news, like last episode.
Yeah.
You can check it out. It's on the unpanders.com. You can view it there. You can not view it there. You can view it twice there. Anyway,
Yeah, keep clicking,
anyway,
keep
folks,
clicking.
you can click it. But the speed of news now is like every 8 seconds I need a news update.
Yeah.
I want something to happen somewhere.
So if
I
there's
want to hear what people are doing. But back then it was like once every 18 years.
and then they get
There'd be,
this
like,
one book
every-
that's chained
Yeah,
down.
Yeah, and everyone has to come there to read it.
Yeah, so you
Mike,
yeah, I do. I feel it's polite to our viewers.
I feel the opposite. I feel like that's hiding something from them. Are you hiding something in your burp?
No.
I'm just saying, folks. I'm Nick of the
And
Unpanders.
I'm Dan.
That's
I'm
Dan.
polite. I'm a nice guy. That's the thing. I'm
There,
trying to
there.
overshadow. Overcast, foreshadow,
Mhm.
all those things. I'm nice.
If you, in your research, did you like one more than the other? Greece versus Rome.
I wasn't even comparing Greece or Rome. I was just looking at Rome.
Fair.
I-
Well, I will say I did like the Romans better. Do you know why? Better women's rights, and that's kind of what the Unpanders is all about.
Did they let women vote? Suffrage? Women's suffrage.
There was no voting. Hold up. But the Greece were nasty to women. It was stay at home, make babies, take care of the kids. That's it. It's all you women are good for. And I thought, as a woman, this hurts me. I'm both, by the way. I'm gender fluid. Rome, on the other hand, was whoa, the women deserve the right to divorce the man if they want.
After they created
They women-
their city
Oh, they-
from raping women from the colony
Well,
near them.
this is later on. This
Oh
is
yeah,
Roman.
future. Yeah, I like later period Rome.
Future.
I would say
Alright.
the same thing.
But they also, women could own property that didn't belong to a man. I thought that was really cool. And I was like, that's forward thinking. That's like us at the Unpanders. We love women so much. We love anyone who's going to pay us money so much. We're just
That brings up an interesting topic about, I guess, social welfare. They made like one of the inventions they're attributed is welfare. So
Really,
if
the
someone,
lower income people, the
hmm
lowest income people, could somehow find a way to get by. I
they're
guess.
taken care of. That's the first notion of people taking care of others in their society.
What's weird is we get differing accounts. Like, weren't they the ones that, if they had a child that was missing an arm or something, they would throw it into the
I
pit?
thought that was the
Like,
Greeks. I'm taking
oh,
this.
so the Greeks are the bad guy. Everyone from Greece listening to this podcast, you're a bad guy. And I can't believe what you did to Rome. All the Romans listening to the podcast, we love you, folks. We like you. You're welcome. We're the Unpanderers.
And this is Rome.
No, we didn't have to stop. It was,
Yeah, I figured.
I mean, if you want to edit it, I don't care.
I don't know. I was just thinking about how I needed to cut it down because it's getting long now. It's getting long.
Well, we have to cut out the whole middle section where I
Cried away your tears. Yeah.
cried away my tears.
I stopped it. I think I'm gonna start and stop from now on, so I can just
See how start stops do?
yeah. I might do that because it's easier on me. Because editing this bullshit is too long. It took me an hour to do the cut in the middle
Really?
of the last one because I was just kind of like thinking about how I could cut elsewhere and it was too much. So anyway, back to Rome. Well,
Folks at home.
yeah, it seemed like Rome kind of set up an area that you had free trade, food. It took care of all your hierarchy of needs, and then they got into like inventions. They started inventing. Here's my list of. They invented concrete. It's really strong concrete. Aqueducts,
I'll,
printed media.
I'll tell a quick story that has everything to do with what you're saying.
Oh, hit it.
It involves a real name. We had a teacher named Mr. Grace. Went to our high school. Don't even know.
No, I don't know.
He floated. I don't know if he was there all 4 years, and he always like moved
Like
in
the
a
way
gay
he
way.
walked,
But
he was floating.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Very just.
Would you say I'm a
floating.
glider? Am I a glider?
Not as much as this guy.
No, that's my okay.
You might be, but I'd have to compare you now. I'd have to. You gotta see some fresh
Side by
looks.
side, fresh walks.
I'm gonna see you go back and forth over the camera.
That's another
over time.
topic I want to talk about.
Let you know.
How people walk. Keep going.
Anyway, this man, Mr. Grace, we'll call him, was a history teacher. Floated. Just would write like a random word on the board, one word a day. It was like Mesopotamia, and then he'd talk about it for like 40 minutes, and then it was it. No notes, tests. No, he'd write like an essay. Very touchy feely, whatever. Turns out he starred in some pornographic films before he became a history teacher, called Amazing Grace. I think it's awesome. Anyway, awesome. The only thing I did learn from him it still blows my mind to this day.
Is Fertile Crescent?
No, but it was right around that time, and what you're talking about with Rome, he wrote on the board, what did Rome invent? I forget what. It doesn't even matter what group invented it. He said, what did they invent? He said they had farmers, they had collectors, they had this. What did they invent? And he would ask someone, and he'd be like, that's wrong. He'd float around the room, and he'd be like, well, what do you think really happened here? What did they get out of this whole thing? And everyone would be like, crops? And like people were just saying things, because at this point, we don't know what the hell the guy gets looking for. I don't know what he's asking for. And at the end of the whole thing, he just wrote on the board, free time. And I was like, that's the stupidest thing ever. And he's like, I feel like someone said that actually. He heard them and he went, is it? Or does it lead to invention, creativity, art, something else? And I was like, and because like literally everyone was like working their whole life, but like you were saying with the Romans, they had a hierarchy for what you do when you do. The most valuable resource a culture has is free time, because what they do with their free time is almost like furtherment, art, invention,
Discovery,
like you were saying, discovery, just pushing the human boundaries. And I think that's kind of a cool idea, because I never thought of that. Like when you're working and surviving, you can't. When you have survival and work kind of set up, you can push human envelope. I don't know.
Yeah, Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Sure. I feel like I know what that is,
Maybe.
but
Yeah, I'll add a link in the video so you guys can see what that pyramid looks like.
damn, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Nerd stuff.
Put it on my Instagram. Our Instagram.
I like it. I like it. Our Instagram, the Unpanderers at Instagram.com.
Yeah, we're on Panders
Slash the
everywhere.
Unpanderers.
So what else did they invent then? I only got
I
through.
really
I got my
don't-
list of like 10 things. I maybe 9 because I didn't like the 10th.
Your friend the Romans,
Yes, what did they?
as opposed to, so the Greek were violent people. They were always warring, the Spartans, whatever have you.
I feel like they were really good with boats. So like, if you could steer a boat really well, then you don't. You
Set for
probably
life.
Greek, yeah, you're probably set for life because you
Okay.
could take down any merchant ships and
Interesting
pirates.
take.
We're bringing it back to pirates. The Greeks were
Go
pirates.
back, folks.
So any Greek people out there, let us know how you buy a boat.
They steal it. They're pirates.
That's where steal from other people. That's what
Yeah.
I'm surprised that like the Somali pirates that take over a ship, they hold it for
Uh-huh.
ransom. But like, do they do that for smaller ships? Like they can't hold them for ransom. They just take them. Is that how they?
Yeah, like the rowboat style boat. Yeah, you just take them, I guess.
Yeah.
They don't build them, do they? I don't know.
I don't know.
If you
How do you
steal
start
enough-
out as a pirate? You got to have your own canoe or something. And you're just like, I'm a pirate.
I guess it's got to be, no, I understand. It's got to be relative. So your father or someone has to be
You
one.
inherit the boat that you pirate
Yes,
with.
exactly. That he stole. It's not like you ever built a boat, but you've grown up in boats. He's stolen.
Do you
So
think?
you're stealing boats.
Do they think they really like pass on stuff to their heirs? Do you think they? Would they honor a code?
I think
passing
like
on wealth?
maybe certain like weird trinkets that don't mean anything to us and 401ks. Joke, folks at home. They don't have 401ks, most pirates. And that's what separates us from the barbarians.
The gold.
savages.
All the treasure maps. That's what they pass on.
Are treasure maps a thing? Were they ever? I feel like they're not.
I feel like it's a retrospect. You wish there was a place where you could find a whole bunch of gold.
There is. Sorry, folks at home. If you have a treasure map you've been waiting to look up, it's bullshit.
Do you remember that there was like a Dr. Pepper treasure map thing?
No.
You you should look into
Code
that.
points?
It was actually like they put a certain amount of money in a certain location and they had all these clues on like Dr. Pepper bottles.
Maybe I do remember this a little bit.
Yeah. There's always that one person that just
Was there any?
goes apeshit. No, there's one person that found it like way before everyone else.
Like $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000?
I think it was somewhere in the middle there. It was like
Okay,
10,000.
15 grand. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know how you
Okay.
prevent people from randomly finding it. I guess you have a guy just standing there being like, "Congratulations, here," and they write you a check. Which is really disappointing, I guess, because you want to.
So wait, so what is that guy thinking every time someone walks by him? Here he is. He's a Coke fan. Here's a Dr. Pepper. Here's a proselyte to the cause. And someone walks up and he's like, "Can I borrow $1?" And he's like, he has a check for $15,000. He's like, "No. Are you looking for Dr. Pepper?" And they're like, "I just need $1, man." And he's like, "No, this is not for you."
Some old
Someone
lady
else
is
walks
opening her
by and
purse.
she's like,
Yeah, and then she pulls out a
Young
Dr.
man.
Pepper cap, and he's like,
"Oh."
I would have never expected it. And then she takes the cap away and gives him a Jehovah's Witness book.
This is for you, young man.
Yeah.
I want you to do a little reading for me. Oh no.
Oh boy.
Hmm.
And then he sits there for days,
He
waiting
does.
with his free time, which the Romans invented.
Free time. Who would have thunk?
So they also
Most
invented some other things too. What do you
Let's
think?
get into it.
Yeah,
We shut it down for the night because I'm getting tired.
I'm getting a little sleepy. So they had a republic. So they had laws.
Yes.
They had people specializing in
Okay.
things. They had doctors. They invented surgery apparently.
Did they?
Yeah, they
I
had.
bet it was really good.
Oh, I would.
Better than Obamacare.
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I right?
Before they
folks? No?
discovered anything else, they were just like, let's do surgery. I'm like, oh god, yes.
Anesthesia before knives. They were just Who's using swords?
I could just see some guy like
Found the
amputated.
kidney stone. He's good.
Yeah. We figured out what it was. And it's like, now let's get this other guy and try to do it on him.
Have we figured out how to sew people back together? No, not yet.
Not. Oh,
We'll get there.
oops. And then they invented arches, which is like a very basic thing. Like arches.
No one
and-
had arches before that?
Yeah, no one had. I can't do an arch because I'm looking at myself. There you go. I gotta look there. Yeah, so they invented arches and roads and quick travel, like Skyrim.
Like in video games where you like if you've been there you're gonna press A and then teleport.
Yeah,
Wow, the Romans were awesome.
they're really good. They're really
Yeah.
good.
Well, actually, I'm running out of steam.
We got one more thing. So he ran out of topics. So the one thing that the Romans had, which they destroyed for everyone else, was this thing called laser wart. I don't know if you checked my Asana, but
Looked at it and I don't recall the word laser. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
so this laser wart exists, I guess, today, but not in the certain variety that in the past allowed you to use it as a contraceptive.
Whoa.
So they found this stuff and they started having sex all the time because they knew they could use this laser wart to prevent unwanted children. So I kind of choked on that one because it was a little upsetting.
Can you,
It's a little upsetting.
I'm really. I love the babies.
Yes.
Big fan of the babies there, Dan. No, I'm very confused. What the hell is laser wart?
So it's just a plant that grew on, I guess, the northern coast of Africa. So when they got big enough, they found it, realized that they could use it as a contraceptive, and they gave it to everybody. Like everybody
they
was just having
wrap it
these
around
giant
their
orgies
waist,
and just enjoying
or-
sexual times
Or you
all the time.
eat it the day of or the day after?
I don't know how. I think it was an after pill, like a day after pill.
A day after plant?
Yeah.
A day after plant?
So they.
Plant B.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah, it's going. That's so they.
Plant B. Anyway.
I guess there was only a period of like a decade or so where they had this, and they started minting coins. Like their whole society was starting to focus on this, and then they used it up. Like they lost the ability to grow it, and then all of a sudden,
So we haven't been able to grow this plant ever?
not
since?
in the way that makes it a contraceptive.
Hold on. That sounds bizarre. Are you sure this is real?
Yes, it's 100% factual. They had like multiple varieties of
How
coins
can
that
you be
had this thing minted
100%? Hold on. I really want to know how you're 100%.
because
Not
I read it
99.9.
somewhere on the internet.
Oh, fair.
And I heard it from
Still
people
some-
too. But they, yeah,
Talking about Rome at your work. Over by the water cooler? Yeah, I'm talking laser. Laser wood doesn't
Yeah.
even work anymore. You can't grow it the same way.
that'd be
It's-
fantastic
it
if
just
I could
doesn't
just be like, so what about Rome, huh? And then you lean in real close and everyone gets
Work it.
awkward.
And you bring in this piece of paper, you're like, I heard they have sexual intercourse.
I could just see
Look
all
up.
my coworkers being like, they repeat the same thing over and over again, like they're robots. They're just like, how are you doing? And you're like, what about Rome? Like, what about, you
Yeah,
doing?
something weird.
how are you doing? I'm good. How are you? How are you?
Never a bad day in my life. And then you're like, Romans had a lot of sex with same-sex couples.
I hear they invented it. Mm.
That's what we hear on the Unpanders. I don't know.
Yeah, and then everyone in the office, since it's an open floor plan, they look over and they go. Except you get that one person that's just like, oh.
Oh, finger mouth mode.
Oh yes. So yeah, so they enjoyed this thing so much that they didn't protect it and they ate through it, or however they used it, so that they could never use it again, and people could never use it again. So it's kind of
Weird.
it's upsetting.
They ruined the best plan B.
Yeah.
Plant B.
Plant B.
Weird. I didn't know that.
So that's my fact about Rome.
That's a good fact. I'm glad you brought it to the Unpanders.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Now we're gonna wind down here. Take a nice relaxing breath.
As we wrap it up, like
Yeah.
you folks at home should do until we find Plan B.
Yep.
Wrap it up, that is.